Hello. So first of all, like some people were very excited about Bedrock and already know what Bedrock is, but first I'll just give a quick introduction what Bedrock even does and what it is. So it's like quite a new service. I think probably a bit more than 1 year old, for foundation models. So what are foundation models? It's basically a new way to describe all these kind of generative AI models that popped up over the last 1 or 2 years, like the large language models and some diffusion models for generating images and now also videos. So yeah, this is something that Amazon obviously also wanted to like take a part in, not leave everything to OpenAI and so on. And yeah, this is what they introduced. And the big benefit of Bedrock, as opposed to like the other ones, is like it is part of the Amazon ecosystem. So you can do quite advanced stuff, like what's also quite the rage right now is like retrieval augmented generation. So it only takes content that you have and that you have stored in your own Amazon AWS infrastructure and like fine tune your models for your needs and also um, some agentic features to like interact with your infrastructure. So that's all very nice. And like as we know, all these foundation model applications need quite a lot of computing power. And then the question arises, why do I need that locally? It's a bit like useless, no? But actually, it's not useless. It's quite important. As we can see, there are some benefits to it. You can predict more what's going to happen because you can see in this Reddit posts or like also this tweet from like well-known people in the AWS community is some weird stuff happens around Bedrock. Like uh, suddenly you just lose your credits. You can use Bedrock for some reason anymore. Maybe because there was on your application there was like a lot of traffic, and then they just stopped that. And sometimes also maybe it can happen that you incur like super huge costs and didn't want to do that and so on. And also, in some cases, you maybe for experimental stuff, you don't want to like share share some data immediately with Amazon, but also want to have it locally at first. So yeah, this is why we decided to also have a local emulator. Obviously, also because of the huge community need for that. And yeah, um, so I'll switch to the demo now and show what our Bedrock emulator is capable of right now. So I've already started LocalStack in the background to save some time, and we also introduced a, a environment variable to immediately start up Bedrock with starting up LocalStack, so that we don't have to wait for the loading of the model and so on, because that can also take quite some time. So when we look at the Docker containers, we can also see that we have like a Llama container running already. Yeah. So what I first want to show you is like Bedrock supports a lot of models already. So if we take a look here, that's like a very long list of models. What we restricted ourselves in this first iteration is like text models. So every model which handles and generates text, like large language models. And we also emulate it all with like one model which is defined on startup of LocalStack. So if you give like a model ID Titan or Mistral, it will all use the same thing. You can select yourself which model this needs to be. Right now, the default is the small LM2 model from Hugging Face. But yeah, what we can do, what Harsh already talked about, is like just simply do some converse API call, like ask a Bedrock what is LocalStack, and it will take some time, but hopefully not too long. Usually it's a bit quicker, but with the streaming and so on, it might take some more time. Yeah, it's like on my machine, it's like around, I don't know, 3-4 seconds to do that like specific call. But yeah, as we can see, running it locally does introduce some kind of hallucinations because obviously the models are not as good. So I don't think that we're an online web hosting platform, but yeah, that's like not the most important part when using this local emulation. Obviously, if you want to have the good results, you will have it in production. So doing it, so using Bedrock locally mainly means that you can try out the features that are on top of the LLMs and still have some kind of LLM support, but to have it interacting well with your other Amazon AWS infrastructure. So one of the things that we have already added is batch inference, which you can try out. So what happens there is you can have a JSON line file. So have a file with JSON inputs for your model, and then create a batch job which goes through all these inputs and generates an output. One benefit here again is you can try it out with a smaller set. When I implemented this feature and tried it out on the big Bedrock, you need at least 100 lines for it to actually like accept the input. But locally, we can just remove that restriction, and you can try it out quickly and iterate quickly and fix your app if something doesn't work. So yeah, what you need to do is to have an input and an output bucket and put like a JSON line file here. And then you can also like copy this file into the bucket, and then you just start your model invocation job. As you can see, like the invocation job is started, and then you can check what's happening. Right now, it's still in progress. Hopefully, it will not take super long. But as we've noticed before in the stream, it can take a bit longer than what I've tried out before. So we'll maybe have to wait a bit here. Still in progress. I've also have the LocalStack logs on the side, and I think we're almost done. So still in progress. Should be done now. So if we check the invocation jobs again, you can see that it's completed, and then in the end we can just copy the output. So for this we will need to know the ID of the job, which is auto-generated on AWS and also on LocalStack, and then take the file which will have the same name but with .out attached to it. Forgot to add the other path. And then we can look at the output. So looking at it, first I wanted to know where Waldo is, but yeah, that's not how text models work. They don't know where Waldo is. They will always only say that they're text models, and they can't do that. Then I wanted to know how can I remove Bedrock, but in Minecraft. And having looked at it quickly, this seems like a wrong answer. The right answer is obviously some piston glitch. And finding elves at the North Pole, we can see that the AI model also doesn't know where elves are. But that's something for the future. Maybe in the future they will know that. So we can go back to the slides now so that I can talk about what will come up in the future, because this is like not the end of it. Right now we've seen there's the core support for just running the Converse API, also the invoke model to sending like raw requests, and this batch processing, which is like a smaller advanced feature above this whole API. But in the future, like we're already planning to add more things. Recently, they've added also in AWS async invocation support, for example, which will obviously also add in LocalStack. And as we can see in the console, in the AWS console, there's quite some new things coming up. And also, especially, there's this section of the builder tools, which will also focus a lot on around knowledge bases, which is basically their implementation for resource augmented generation and also the agentic features. And this is something we'll look on in the future, because this is like the real value that you get when you use Bedrock instead of other providers. You can have these advanced features on top of these foundation models and have them interact with your AWS infrastructure. So that's that.